So yesterday we have substantially dealt with the judgment and decrees passed by the Honorable Court uh, relating to the provisions of Order 20 of the Code of Civil Procedure, and we have dealt with the various forms which are under the what you call it. After the judgment is over, after the judgment is completed, decrees are passed in the matter. So the decree normally is kept ready within 15 days in order to enable the appellant to file the appeal under the provisions of Order 41. And in case it is not ready, the decree copy, and after the amendment of the CPC, the appellant is permitted to file the appeal now on the basis of the judgment copy. Earlier, the rule was to file the appeal along with the decree, judgment, and drawn up order. Now, the decree and drawn up order is dispensed with. Now, we have substantially dealt with the appeal proceeding. I won't be wasting your time in this regard. Now, we are today discussing the execution proceedings. I mean, ultimately, how to give effect to the judgment and decree passed by the court. You can only make an application for execution to the executing court or to a transferee court, provided the provision relating to appeal under Section 96, second appeal under Section 100, and appeal to the Supreme Court under 96 and under Article 136 are totally exhausted. The matter has reached a logical end, and all stay orders have been vacated. Now, during the pendency of the appeal, appellate court will stay the proceedings under the provisions of Order 41, Rule 5, we learned it. Then when the matter goes to the High Court, either under the provisions of Section 115 CPC in revision or under Article 227 under the Constitution of India, normally the High Court would prefer to stay the application during the pendency of the hearing of the matter. Then after the disposal of the writ petition under Article 227 and Section 115, the revision application, the matter may travel to the Supreme Court, because the decree holder wouldn't like to be evicted or doesn't like to lose, and he will take his chance under Article 136, which is the final remedy. Doesn't interfere, it is a concurrent finding of fact, and even it is a law which is laid down earlier is based on. But if there is a contentious issues, a question of far-reaching consequences, and matter of public importance, here the Supreme Court may admit and dispose of the petition. Now we are dealing with civil cases. Now take, for example, in a suit for eviction filed against a trespasser or tenant licensee, or in a mortgage suit which are filed for redemption of mortgage or for foreclosure of mortgage, and the plaintiff succeeded in the trial court, has succeeded in the appellate court, has succeeded before the revisional court in the High Court, or in the writ court under Article 227, and finally also in the Supreme Court under Article 136. Now the Supreme Court had disposed of the entire matter with a direction that the execution proceeding may proceed. The Supreme Court may not even say that the SLP is dismissed, all interim orders stand vacated. Now that is the time the original plaintiff who had filed the suit, in whose favor the decree has been passed, has to come for execution of the decree, which the Privy Council says the most difficult and onerous task in India is the execution of the decree. Now let us deal with it here. What is the procedure for it here? There are three types of application under Order 21. Order 21 of the Code of Civil Procedure. It's a comprehensive mechanism dealing from Order 21, Rule 106 is the maximum rules are contained in this execution, and almost all remedial steps are mentioned therein. You are not permitted to file a separate suit challenging the execution, except in question of sale, whether fraud has been initiated, otherwise no. Now let us now today start with that after the conclusion of the trial and the culmination of the proceeding before the Supreme Court, now the decree holder wants to enjoy the fruits of the decree by presenting an application for execution which is done. For example, in the Bombay High Court or City Civil Court, the decree has been passed in the plaintiff favor for specific performance of a contract or decree for possession. Now, or is a money decree, and under the summary suit is a money decree is passed. Now let us take, for example, a money decree is passed. Now when a money decree is passed in favor of the plaintiff, he has the liberty to make a oral application under Order 21, Rule 11 CPC. Mansi, please kindly open. It's surprising that a oral application for execution is also allowed. Normally, a decree passed by the trial court for money decree is not immediately stayed unless the defendant, judgment debtor, undertakes to deposit certain amount which the courts may direct. Now that Order 21 Rule 11.1 speaks of oral application. Now this is a very unique provision that the defendant is arrested under this provision on a oral application of the plaintiff. Even before the judgment, even before the decree is ready, for the decree to get ready, it takes 15 days time minimum under the Code of Civil Procedure Code. Now, in the case of a money decree, if the plaintiff by affidavit is satisfied, now, if by affidavit satisfied, Order 21 Rule 11A. Now, 11A came to be added recently in the year, you may call it here, 11A. Just kindly tell me, Mansi, when it is inserted.
Yes, sir.
Order 21 Rule 11A.
Yes,
21 Rule 20. Yeah, it mandates that the decree holder should file an affidavit disclosing the ground to the court why, upon the oral application, the judgment debtor should be arrested. Please note that. But but he need not make a separate written application for that purpose, for execution. That is the language under Order 21 Rule 11.1. It is only in exceptional cases. In rarest of rare cases, for example, suppose, for example, a decree has been passed in plaintiff favor by the Bombay High Court or City Civil Court for a sum of rupees 1 crore by City Civil Court, or about 1 crore 10 lakh by the Bombay High Court. And the court is not inclined to stay the decree. The defendant's counsel, the defendant personally makes an application that your lordship may kindly stay the operation and implementation of the decree to enable me to owe an appeal. It may be a summary suit. Normally, summary suit, the courts are not inclined to stay the execution unless the defendant, judgment debtor, deposits substantial amount. So the court may say that deposit the money, I will grant the stay. He is not inclined to grant. He is not inclined to deposit. In that scenario, the original plaintiff, who is a decree holder, can make an oral application to the court. My lord, I have just come to know, I received information that this man is migrating. The defendant is migrating to foreign countries. He has sold the properties. That is what my information, the neighbors have informed me, and he should kindly be arrested. So this is a very rare provision where the court exercises the power of arresting the person, immediate arrest, provided that defendant is present in the precincts of the court. Kindly note that one of the condition mandatory is that here it must be a money decree. Number two, in the money decree, execution order has been passed against the defendant, decree has been passed. Number three, the plaintiff's judgment, the decree holder files an affidavit under Order 21 Rule 11A showing the grounds why he should be arrested. Though he himself did not present the application for execution, he can make a oral application. Oral request, immediate arrest must be effected. Otherwise, the decree will become infructuous if he is migrated to USA. I came to know from the agent that today, this morning, he has obtained the ticket and his flight is about to leave in the night, about 11 o'clock, 11 in the night. So my lord may kindly order his arrest. This is a final order of arrest which the court may exercise may not exercise. Please note that. So discretionary powers. If there are properties available of the judgment debtor, the court may tell the plaintiff, you apply for attachment of those properties. Or if there are no properties in the affidavit you have mentioned, the court may get him arrested. Because one of the mode of execution you learn under section 51, arrest of the judgment debtor, isn't it? So the court may exercise this power. So upon the oral application, this is only confined to payment of money decree. Kindly note that. Not in a suit for a decree for immovable property, not in a decree for specific performance of a contract, not in a decree which is passed for a preliminary decree for what you call it, redemption of mortgage, or for foreclosure of mortgage. You cannot. Except the money decree, no other decree, this application can be entertained by the court. But in my opinion, this is in the rarest of rare cases, the court exercises discretion because it's a oral application. The judgment is just delivered by the court. It may not have been signed also. It is and for preparation of a decree takes about a minimum 10 to 15 days time. So the court exercises extraordinary powers under the provisions of Order 21, Rule 11, Subclause 1, by arresting the judgment debtor provided he is present. Please note this, important prayer. Now the second application, this is the oral application. Now the second mode, the mode of application is a written application is made under Order 21, Rule 11, Subclause 2. Please note that. This is a normal application for execution made by the plaintiff who has succeeded, namely the decree holder. Now this application is a written application, which I mentioned to you. The format of this application you will find this in Appendix E. Mansi, please can you Appendix E, form number 6. Form number 6. Appendix E check कीजिए आप. E for England. Appendix E, form number 6. Yeah, I'm sorry. You got it, Mansi? Yes. Now, this is the form for execution of application in almost every court. Please note that this is a written application. Yesterday we discussed this execution application will contain the suit number, it will contain the name of the parties, it will contain the cause of action, the claim exactly which is decreed by the court. Pardon? Yeah, it will contain a column whether decree was passed, when the date of the decree, whether any stay has been granted, whether any appeal is filed against the judgment and decree, whether any application, that details are to be furnished. Please see that step by step, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then ultimately it will tell you what is the mode of assistance, what is the mode of assistance is required from the court. So the assistance required from the court, suppose if it's a decree for possession the court has granted, you may say that warrant of possession be issued directing the bailiff of the court to put you in possession. Or number T. Under section 51, you learn the various modes of attachment, and that appointment of a receiver is one of the ground. And now this honorable court be pleased to appoint a court receiver in the matter. Then third mode is arrest and detention of the judgment debtor in the court of law. Number A is under section 51, you can say delivery of possession. That is, you seek a warrant of possession. Number 2, the second mode by warrant of attachment of the property. Attachment of the property, which we have learned and will be learning also further. Then third relief is sought is here, that this honorable court be pleased to arrest the detention arrest the judgment debtor in prison. If the order with regard to imprisonment is sought, the provisions of section 58 of the CPC are required to be followed, and where the arrest cannot exceed not more than 3 months. Okay, that we'll see. Then another mode of assistance sought is by appointing a court receiver. So these are the various 4 modes: delivery of possession, attachment of the property, arrest of the judgment debtor, then by appointing a court receiver, are the 4 well-known modes of execution in India. Please note that. Apart from this, the court may carve out a further ground, which can also be, which will have to be also followed by the judgment, by the decree holder in the matter. So this is the second application. Kindly note that apart from the oral application under Order 21, Rule 11. So this appendix is very important. Kindly go through very, very carefully. And these are the requirements which we mentioned yesterday. Now, come back to the provisions of this is one application. Another thing you must remember is that here, application for execution. What is the period of limitation under the Limitation Act? Anybody knows? For enforcement of a decree, that is Article 136, Article 1st 135 and 136. For enforcement of a decree granting mandatory injunction, it is 3 years under Article 135. Mansi, please kindly see that here. You know, mandatory injunctions are granted under Section 39 of the Specific Relief Act. Kindly open Article 135. See, Article 135 for enforcement of a decree granting mandatory injunction. Now, that is 3 years' time from the date of the decree, when decree is fixed for performance. When after the stay orders have been vacated, which were passed by the trial court, executing appellate court, revisional court, writ court, or the Supreme Court. Then other decrees for possession, specific performance, matrimonial, conjugal, specific performance, all other decrees fall within the ambit of Article 136, where the execution period is for 12 years, maximum time. Please note that this is very important. So the mandatory injunction which are granted under Section 39 of the Specific Relief Act. All of you know that is the substantive prayer. The mandatory injunction which the Supreme Court granted in the Warden's case is a temporary mandatory injunction that cannot be executed. That is under Order 39, Rule 1 and 2. Please note that the injunctions which you learned under the CPC under Order 39, Rule 1 and 2 and Section 94 supplemental powers, they are not executable at this stage because they are not decrees, they are orders. They were interlocutory orders. Interlocutory orders cannot be executed like a decree. It is only a final decree which is executed. So in a plain, when you seek a mandatory injunction of the removal of defendant, your first prayer should be that this honorable court be pleased to grant a mandatory order of injunction directing the defendant to quit, vacate, hand over possession. So that comes under Section 39 of the Specific Relief Act. Mansi, please can you quickly open Section 39 of the Specific Relief Act?
Sir, Ojas here. Is the notice for execution necessary?
I will tell you. I'm coming to that. Yes, okay. It's a good point you raised. I'm telling you. See that Section 39 Specific Relief Act speaks for mandatory injunction. So this is a substantive remedy. Please note that here. Here the decree can be passed. This decree is passed. It is called a final decree or a substantive decree, which is executable within 3 years from the date of the passing. Now, along with the plain, after the prayer A, mandatory injunction, you would like to get an injunction, a temporary order of injunction. That is normally how it is couched. Prayer B hota normally plain ke andar, that pending the hearing and final disposal of the suit, that this honorable court be pleased to grant a mandatory injunction. Now, sometimes the confusion can arise when the main suit itself is for mandatory. Does the court has power to also grant an interlocutory injunction? Yes, that is what the subject before the Supreme Court in yesterday's judgment in AIR 1990 Supreme Court, the Warden's case. That is, we learned under Section 44 of the Transfer of Property Act, when a property has been sold by the brother, co-brother to a stranger, the Supreme Court got him evicted. He cannot be allowed to stay in the premises, which is a joint dwelling house. So here, a father can say that here, parents, my son and daughter-in-law are troubling, they drink and abusing and relations are hostile. It is not possible to stay. Normally, the court exercises the provisions of Order 13, Section 39 specifically, in fact, also presses immediately. This will take a longer time. This is for recording evidence. But in the meanwhile, when you take out a notice of motion or an interim application under Order 39, Rule 1 and 2, the courts have power to pass interlocutory order in a mandatory form. Please note that. So interlocutory application under Order 39, Rule 1 and 2, they are not decrees, they are only orders which are appealable under Order 43, which we learned that is not different. So today we are discussing the orders which are passed, which are appealable, a final decree. So the mandatory injunction is 3 years and other decrees are under Article 12 years. Yes, this is very, now our student, this one, Sanjay, what is his name? Sanjay asked a very interesting question.
Ojas.
What? Yeah, Ojas, sorry. Ojas asked a very good question. What is the time to take out the application? Now, application, that is the limitation period. Now, please note that an application under Order 21, Rule 11, Subclause 2, should be filed within 2 years. Application under Order 21, Rule 11, Subclause 2 is entertained by the court provided it is made within 2 years and no notice is necessary to be issued. Kindly note that here. When you open the provisions of 2111, you read this here. Yeah, Order 21, Rule 11, item number C, that here. Where the provision? Application is made for exit. Yes. Mansi, in this, kindly see that here under 21 Rule 11, there's a provision which says that the application is made within 2 years. A sign shall contain the following, but save otherwise provided. An application for execution of decree shall in writing sign and verified application for some other person proved by court and the following requirement, name of the particulars, payment adjusted, so and so. Where any previous application has been mentioned. Yes. Here normally the procedure is that here, this application, when the judgment, the defendant, that is the judgment debtor has represented, has participated in the proceeding and he is aware of the proceeding. So normally notice is not given to him at the time of the execution, but the court may in a discretion, please note that the court may in a discretion may tell suppose if it's an ex parte decree passed under Order 9, Rule 13, court would not like to execute decree in favor of the plaintiff without giving notice. Now that notice provision application is Order 21, Rule 22 CPC. Yes. Now here Order 21, Rule 22 has clarified. Kindly see open Order 21, Rule 22. Now under this provision, this provision application is made after 2 years. Now see that here. notice to show cause in execution certain cases. Now see that under Order 21 Rule 11, the provision does not say that notice be issued. So there is an absence of notice here. So it can be presumed that the court can take cognizance of the application for execution without issuing notice. Court is under the belief that it's a summary proceeding and execution should not be stalled. The defendant participated in the trial, filing written statement, cross-examination of witnesses. He led his own evidence, and there is no, he is bound to be aware of the result of the matter. So there is no point in delaying the further execution by giving him notice. So under the provisions of Order 21, Rule 11, subclause 2, but in the case of a oral of execution under 21 Rule 11(1), it mandates that here oral application should be made in the presence of the defendant who is present in the precedence of the court by filing affidavit. But whereas a written application under Order 21 Rule 11, subclause 2 is made within 2 years, if it means notice is dispensed with. Issuance of notice is not required there. But where an application is made after 2 years, that is the language of Order 21. It says that here, where an application for execution is made more than 2 years after the date of the decree. Kindly see that. So 21-22 is applicable when the application is made after 2 years of the decree and within 12 years. Within 12 years because the Limitation Act tells you 12 years. Now in what circumstances the application under Order 22 rule can be made against whom? Number one, in cases first, the requirement is the application is made after 2 years, the court can entertain the application and issue notice upon the judgment debtor. It will not straightaway execute decree. It will not get the defendant arrested. It will not even issue attachment order. It will not even pass an order appointing a receiver. It will issue show cause notice upon the judgment debtor, original defendant, that the plaintiff has made this application for execution against you, namely for attachment of your property or your arrest or for appointment of a court receiver, or even for arresting the sureties who are given in the matter. Please give cause why the application should not be allowed, because this application is filed under Order 21, Rule 22 after 2 years. Now the second circumstances where this application maintainable is against the legal representatives of the decree of the party to the decree, or where the application is made execution file under the provisions of 44A. Now, number 2, Order 21, Rule 22, Clause B says that application is made against legal representatives of the defendant. That means it is presumed that the defendant is dead. After the passing of the decree, the defendant is no more. He is expired. Then the plaintiff has come to know about the death of the defendant. The plaintiff himself makes an application, or the pleader of the defendant under Order 22 Rule 10A makes an intimation to the court that my client is expired. These are the names of the heirs and legal representatives. Sometimes the heirs and legal representatives are not given. The plaintiff has to make diligent inquiries and find out himself. Or sometimes execution is done against a dead person. The court may say that after the passing of the decree, the defendant is no more, so you take out the application against the heirs. So under Order 21-22, Clause B, the application for execution can be filed against the legal representatives of the judgment debtor, original defendant. So this application is filed, court will issue notice to whom? To all the heirs and legal representatives, the children, the heirs, whoever a person intermeddling with the estate of the deceased. It may be a bank or a financial institution who have given loan to the original defendant. So they are in custody of some property which needs to be attached by the plaintiff. So a notice will be issued under this provision. Now the third requirement is that where notice is issued upon application under 2122, in a case where it said that the provisions of section 44A. Now 44A is applicable to a decree passed in reciprocal countries. You know that a foreign judgment which is executable in India under a foreign judgment and decree under section 12, you learn when it is binding, when it is conclusive. Under section 11. Can you please, Mansi, open section 44A? We'll just run through that. It's an important provision.
Sir, please unmute yourself, and 4 minutes are remaining.
Okay, you can hear me now?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. Anybody has any question? Yeah, I will just discuss what is section 44A. See, 44A say execution of decree passed by a court in reciprocating territory, where the certified copy. Now here is the case. Section 44A is applicable to decrees passed by a foreign court, which are conclusive under section 12, which we learned earlier. Judgment and decree passed in a foreign court, for example, London, USA, Paris, or maybe award passed under the Geneva Convention, or maybe a New York Convention, when award is sought to be executed in India, or a decree, whatever may be. Now, kindly once again, recapitulate your remedy, what we had discussed under the provisions of section 12. Under the provisions of section 12, 12 and 13, when a foreign judgment is conclusive and not conclusive. Under section 13. Now, this decree, when a foreign court, any foreign court passing against an Indian citizen, maybe there's a matrimonial decree, lots of matrimonial cases, dispute take place, and even international disputes take place under the UNCITRAL laws, United Nations Commission and International Trade laws, or maybe a decree is passed, award is passed. They are executed under the provisions of section 13 when a final decree. So when a decree is brought, section 44, a reciprocal countries, you know that here, India is a signatory to various foreign conventions. Yes, as a result whereof we have passed several international laws, accepting, for example, UNCITRAL laws, in arbitration laws, and based on the TRIPS agreement, we have amended our copyright, patent acts, and all this. So we are respecting the international decrees. When a decree is passed by a foreign country and brought for execution in Bombay, the district court in India, if it's in Bombay, it will come to the Bombay High Court, will execute it, Thane, Pune, and it will be the district court. So under section 44, the procedure is laid down. When a decree is brought for execution, application is filed under order 21, rule 22, not under order 2111. Okay, please note that. That means the court will issue a notice again. Okay, anybody has any questions so far before I take up next topic? How many minutes are there, Mansi, now?
1 minute, sir.
Hello? 1 minute, anybody? Then the next limb of order 21 is that here, that a decree which is sought to be executed against item number C, against a assignee or receiver in insolvency, where the judgment debtor, the defendant has become insolvent, or I mean the judgment debtor has assigned the decree. After the decree is passed, it's a legal assignment. that judgment of the Supreme Court I will discuss with you. It's a legal assignment, and it is not the assignment of a decree after decree is passed is permissible. So when you seek to execute the decree against the assignee, then you have to give a notice under Order 21, Rule 22. Again, the person who has become insolvent after the decree is passed, the defendant became insolvent, and when an insolvent has no property left, it will go under the provisions of